get this episode out Friday because I wanted to give you a warning. However, it's too late, but you can still heed to the. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. It's been a hot minute since I've been here on YouTube. So let's get into it. This general reading, as we've now entered into Cancer season. I'm dancing because that's my home court. Yeah, so there are a few interesting things that I did see in the chart that I did want to reiterate on. I'm just referring to the notes that I took. So the sun, of course, is in Cancer, and then there's Mercury as well in Cancer. And this combination of these two planets together, it's really a testament to the mind-heart connection that can go on, because the sun, as it overrules just your whole body's vitality, so that energy really could be directed anywhere. And then, but it's just really like a wholesome vigor of your well-being. And then Mercury is more so attributed to the head, specifically the brain, your nose, your eyes, and yeah, that's generally it. It's mainly the upper portion of your head. So yeah, that combination is with the mind heart, which also, is in tune with the Cancer archetype, being a water sign, of course. We're really in tune with our heart, with our feelings, which everyone is about to be in the water within the next month or so. So yeah, and then just solidifying that with the Mercury aspect. So if you are out of balance in any way in regards to the mind-heart connection, really find a way to just be in flow, right? Water, being a Cancer sign that we're in right now, water, it represents fluidity and motion. And sometimes it can get stagnant or stuck in the body, but just even in general too, pertaining to your life. So incorporating fortifying plants in foods will help a lot. Fortifying meaning it's very nutrient dense. So we'll get into specific plants that may be beneficial for this time as we sift through what's going on and what's in the chart right now. What's also in the chart is Moon in Scorpio. Do I need to say more? As Scorpio, so Scorpio rules the reproductive organs. So these are your ovaries, your womb, your uterus, the testes. The fallopian tubes are co-ruled by Scorpio and I believe Jupiter, if I remember correctly. So yeah, there's a lot of, and that moon aspect is more so, that has to do with the fluids. So be keen with your water intake. I know in some places in the world it is hot or even cold. I saw how in Colorado they still have snow at this time. Did someone say pole shift? Yeah. But anyways, so just being keen on your water intake, not only that, but your minerals, because that also helps to facilitate different nutrients throughout the circulatory system. So yeah, being keen on certain elements such as potassium, your magnesium. These levels help with making sure water is not retained in certain areas of the body and is flowing as it should. So yeah, and if it does, then your Scorpio aspect, your chart is going to be popping. It's going to be popping. So yeah, and then there's also Mars in Aries. Now this here is where these next two aspects are where things can get more serious just because of the aspect that it's in. Now, of course, we can go deeper into it too, right? Not only looking at the aspects but you can also look at degrees, which I have talked about in a previous video. I might delve into that and how to look deeper into, medical astrology readings further. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, so yeah, Mars in Aries. So Mars, like I mentioned, well, Mars is similar to Mercury, but Mars is more so the lower aspect of the face. And then, actually, I take that back. That is Taurus. Mars is, it co-rules other parts of Mercury up in the head area. And there's also Aries. So Aries is, it represents, hey, it represents, of course, air, as well as the head as well. So this has to do with circulation with throughout the body, blood and other fluids, your head space in general. So depending on the placement that of your chart where it is right now, this can either activate your brain. You might just have so many ideas flowing. If that's the case, make sure you write them down. So you, first of all, you don't feel overwhelmed and you have this ventilation. You know, writing down is kind of like a ventilation for your brain. So get those ideas out somehow. I know for me, if I don't create for a certain amount of time, I start to twitch. So yeah, so just be aware of how your body responds to certain things, understand what they mean, and then do something about it. So that's one end of the spectrum. Then the other end of the spectrum is just memory loss, lack of clarity, not remembering things, kind of being airheaded in a sense. So and that could be due to a different things, right? Certain synapses probably couldn't be going off as they should. The nerval aspect of it, there's also the fluid aspect of it that you have to consider as well. You know, lack of oxygen and or blood, which if that's the case, that can get a little bit serious. Baby girl was teething and she's chewing on something. I think she bit her lip. Anyways, so yeah, are you okay now? Yeah. Yeah, so the reason for that can mean a lot. If it gets serious, of course, see a health professional. Otherwise, like I said earlier, those fortifying plants and foods, making sure you're getting enough nutrients will help. So not only is that the plant aspect, but you also have to consider other substances like fatty acid rich substances. You have your nuts and your seeds, fish. So these things will help in regards to brain function in general. Yeah, and then lastly is the Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces. I saw this. I think I talked about this. I think I talked about this dream I had last November, and this dream really just kicked off me just looking at the chart and what's to come for this year, and not only for myself but for the collective. And there's a lot coming up in this aspect. Neptune in Pisces. Let me say now, I really wanted to get this episode out Friday because I wanted to give you a warning. However, it's too late, but you can still heed to the warning. Now, if you are one to partake in alcohol and the spirits, be cautious and do so with intention, because if not, the effects of alcohol, any kind of substance really that alters your state of being, it'll be prolonged because of this aspect. And especially now that it's retrograde. Neptune in Pisces is going to be retrograde until the, I didn't write down the date. I think it's yeah, I believe September. Don't quote me on that, but it's sometime in the fall of this year. But yeah, I would definitely suggest to refrain from those substances, or at least limit how much you are taking. Now, the body is an amazing thing. I talk about body awareness a lot. Now, if you write notes, if you have a journal about like what your body communicates to you, if you don't have one, I would encourage you to get one, because this will help in regards to just being aware of how your body's communicating with you. So the cosmos, cosmology, what we study in the stars, it affects our bodies, right? We have the, of course, you know, our periods were named after the moon cycle because of this gravitational pull that affects the body. So these aspects that I'm reading, it does affect the body to some extent. So sometimes even naturally, for example, with the Neptune and Pisces, naturally you might just say, I'm not feeling alcohol or spirits right now. That's your body telling you. Whether or not it's in alignment with cosmology, it's just having an awareness of what your body's saying and respecting that. That's really the base of it. You can look into the chart. The chart can clarify certain things for you and what your body is telling you. But of course, yeah, if your body is communicating something to you, respect that information. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the Neptune in Pisces aspect. And this really helps to also define, this is outside of medical astrology, but this is just really to help define what is real and what's illusionary. Yeah, and I think a lot of us in the collective are experiencing that right now with everything that's going on in the world. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say in that regard. Definitely wanted to emphasize on the fortifying plants. Now, there are different ways that you can go about fortifying plants and herbs. So you can go via the vitamin and mineral route, like I mentioned earlier. You can also dive into different aspects and properties of plants. So you have, for example, adaptogenic plants, which tap into the nervous system and help balance that out. You can also specifically dive into nervines, which help in regards to any, you know, if there's any static energy, in a sense, in the nervous system, it fizzles it out. So those are just a few examples of other things outside of nutritive plants, if that makes sense. So yeah, and I know, so for Cancer, this season that we're in, plants, if you want to connect with them more on a deeper level that are in alignment with this season that we're in, these plants tend to be, the water content is quite high. And because of that, depending on the plant, the volatile oils and its smell is also more aromatic. So these plants will be water dense and they'll smell nice. They'll be aromatics. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to reiterate for this season that we are in Cancer. Yeah, that's it. All right, awesome. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next reading. I might go live. I know last year I started doing lives for readings. However, I'll catch you next month. But yeah, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I have a slew of videos that I need to record and upload. So those will be out very soon. So yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in today and hanging out with me and the stars. Yeah. All right. Awesome. I will check you guys in another video. Bye for now.